Oh,
There we are.
there we are. See, I went all in on my Twitter name. Did you like that?
I like it.
Sup, dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Holla at your girl Siri. Here once again, against my will, to introduce Basement Boyz 2. If you're listening to this, I guess you must be depressed and need something to make you feel better about yourself. Maybe you gained a couple pounds over the holidays and watching Derek and Eduardo the manager helps you put that bottle of pills down, and that's okay. He insists on being called Eduardo the manager now. If I had hands and eyes, I'd use air quotes and roll my eyes. I guess the name Sweaty Nutsack was taken. Well, these guys have internet, a computer, software, and hardware. Here's a show.
All right.
All right, welcome to another fine episode of Basement Boyz 2.
Thanks, Siri.
Welcome back to the studio, Derek.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since we
haven't done a
we've
twofer
met
in a while. And we haven't done a show in a while.
We haven't done a show.
I've been doing shows.
You've been very active doing shows.
I've been cranking them out. You might want to turn down my audio just a scotch. I'm seeing a couple peaks when I get loud. There we go.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah. You've been producing and
Boy,
creating
I've been busy.
a lot of content. I have been not doing much of anything at all.
Well, here we are now, though.
So
It's the first show of
2019.
2019, the year of our Lord and Savior. I've been doing that at work.
Yeah, I bet it goes over.
I just love saying, because people are like, what's the date today? And I'll be like, oh, it's January 11th, the year of our Lord and Savior, Christ Jesus. And they're like, what?
Amen.
Amen. I'll be like, he who smelt it dealt it. 1 Corinthians. A letter from Paul to the apostles. New year, new me. I'm back on that diet. Back on that. No, I say on the diet because that's like the easiest way, but like truthfully, I'm just doing what I did last year when I lost all of it. I didn't gain it all back. Actually, can I run something by you real quick?
Yeah.
Let me run my weight loss idea
Okay.
by you, okay?
All right.
So 2 years ago, I was 320. Okay. And then I lost 40 pounds to get down to 280, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the math on that, right? Yeah. And then I gained like 20 of it back to get back to 300. Okay.
Okay.
Then I lost 40 pounds to get down to 260. And then I gained 20 of it back to get to 280. Okay. Then I lost. So what I'm thinking is, eventually,
it's a strategy. It's like the 2-step forward or one step forward, 2 steps back.
So okay, so this was this 300 and 260. This is when we first started really talking again before we started doing the show. But that was when I was walking the bridges every day. I lost 40 pounds, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the year before that was so I was basically 320. And every year this 300 right here, this is January. You guys can't see this, but I'm writing this out for him. So this is January. This is the last 3 years. So now I started off this new year. I got down to about 260 again.
In 2018.
And now I'm back at 280. Okay. Or I was back at 280. Mm-hmm. I'm not at 280 anymore, actually. I'm already down to about 272, between 272 and 275. Okay.
Nice. Uh-huh.
So my theory is, here's my running theory. Lose 40 pounds. I'll get down to 240. Okay. Then by the end of the year, I'll be at 260. And if I just keep doing that, eventually, when I gain 20 pounds back, so I'll be at 260, right? So this is the end of this year. I'll get back up to 260, right?
Okay, so then that's January.
This is January of next year.
Of 2020.
Yeah, so 2020. Okay, so January of 2020. Okay, uh-huh. I'll be at 260. Then I'll lose 40 pounds. Okay, so I'll get down to 220. Then when I gain the 20 pounds back. Okay, 240. I will finally be at my goal weight at
2021?
2021.
That's not bad.
I feel like I was talking to somebody at work, and I think I figured out why it is.
So you're going to get under your goal weight during 2020.
Yeah. And I'll be like, yeah, cool. But like, well, hold on. I know what's a coming. Because I think I know what happens. I figured it out, Ward.
Okay.
I really did, Eduardo. I figured it out. Okay. So I start off at a weight, and then I do really because it's like the new year, and even if it's like last year, it was snowing in January, and I was still out.
New goals, new hopes.
But I was still walking.
Yeah.
Even in the snow of last January and February, I was still out walking and doing stuff. There's something about December and November when it's snowing in the same weather. I just don't do it. Then there's the holidays too, right?
There's something to be said about that because I'm almost identical, and then you add the food element to it.
So add the food element, and then drinking of November and December. I'd say October, November, December are my 3 biggest months of drinking. Mm-hmm. And in July, I drink a lot too because of the 4th of July and stuff. But in July, I'm still very active. I'm playing sports. We were playing basketball last time this year,
that time
during the summer, we're outside playing basketball. We're running around. We're doing stuff. Okay, so here's my theory. I lose all that weight. By the way, when I generally start climbing back up is about September.
Yeah.
About September is when I start climbing back up. It's when fall semester of school starts again. So I figured it out. I lose all that weight through August. And then when September starts, I want to start drinking and being lazy again. And then I gain about 5 pounds a month for the rest of the year. And then the new year starts and I'm able to lose it again. Also, maybe coincidence, I don't know. In about August is when I start plateauing. Remember this year in August, I couldn't get below 260. Couldn't break it. Remember I kept telling you I want to see that 259 in it. I could not, I was plateauing. But then I think after I go and like eat and I just kind of mess around through September, October, November, December, now I was able to lose, I started this year of 285 is what it was. So, I mean, I've given and taken. So it was 285. I'm down to 272. And that was within a week. So I think what happens is I just trick my body between September and December that it's like, yep, we're just a fat piece of shit again. And then January starts and I'm like, hey, by the way, remember how I know how to do this? And then I lose it all. And then August starts again and it's like, well, so my thinking now is I'm going to embrace it. September comes around. I'm still going to try. My only goal for September now is not going to be to do weight loss anymore. Instead, it's just going to be for maintenance until the next January. So I'm going to actively not try to lose weight after September, but I'm going to actively not try to gain it.
Yeah.
But then it still allows me to go to like the Nez Perce County Fair and get a corn dog and like go to like eat Halloween candy, and then in November eat Thanksgiving dinner, and then in December eat like Christmas cookies and shit.
Yeah.
And then start over again. I'll
so
trick
my
body.
timeline.
What do you think?
Yeah, you could.
Is there a point here?
No, I think there is because and my trajectory is similar to yours. My timeline's a little bit different than yours. It's like a 3-month difference, which is weird. But mine seems to run weird too. Like if I look at my year last year, I hit my all-time low in like May, June.
You want to see something cool real quick?
What am I looking at?
Just erase that with a little hand spit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is a Rocket book. I can scan this page and mark one of these and then email it to something if this is really important.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very. And then I can just erase the page.
Nice.
Rocket book.
How much is that?
$30.
Oh, cool.
Worth it. I've gotten rid of so many notepads at work.
I bet.
Anyway,
so yeah, in June I hit I got down. Well, I was under like April, May, and then June I was doing the little the maintenance bubble that I kind of rode on for a while. Then I kind of started slowly climbing back up. And then what will eventually happen is I'll get to the point where I'll climb and then I get a real pissy attitude, and I stop even weighing myself.
Yeah.
Or stop tracking. So
Okay.
then when the next time I decide to weigh and enter it in, it's this huge spike.
Right.
And so the way it tracks on my thing is it'll be like, and then like a period of weeks will go by where I won't.
Okay, so I want to add to it. So in July and stuff, when I do 4th of July, I count those calories. You know, if I do 4th of July celebration, like I'll put in the beers that I think I'm going to have.
Yeah.
Even if it's a ton. I'll be like, yeah, well, it was a rough day. I had a lot of beers that day, right? Well, here's this. But keeping in mind that in July, I'm not drinking every day, right? It's just during basically 4th of July, and then a couple of times if I go out fishing or I go upriver or whatever, right? It's just like here and there.
Yeah.
But in September, I start drinking so often that I don't want to put it in anymore. And then basically I just quit using MyFitnessPal for the rest of the year, which is exactly what I did.
That's what I just described too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't alcohol necessarily, but what
Mine
happens?
is definitely alcohol.
Well, alcohol's part of it, but what'll happen is I'll lose the ability to track because we'll eat random things that
Sure.
I don't. When we have planned meals and meals that I've made before that I've either created recipes for or I've built in my phone,
Yes.
then I could function. But when we don't have that,
Yeah.
and when life is just too busy, then that's when it starts to kind of slip. And then I don't know. It was weird because over the course of the last 6 months, I've gained back 20 pounds, which was about that. I lost 20 pounds
Mine was over
at the beginning of the
yeah.
at the beginning of the year. Overall, since the end of 2000 and I think it was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I've lost I've managed to keep like 30 pounds off.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's slowly started to climb back up, and it's gotten depressing. So I got to reverse that again. And then this week has like been hard because we had my wife's grandfather passed away, and so we've had like a lot of food coming in.
So I have to figure out now in my plan in 2021 when I'm 240. In 2021 when I'm 240, you know, I got to figure out, like, do I want to lose 20 pounds that next year or 40 pounds that next year and then make my new thing the 220 because I know I have 240. I'm not kidding, legit as my weight. And the reason why that is because my fiance, you know, she's the one that said it best. She started dating me at about 270, and then I gained weight up to 300 last year. It was like 299 when I lost that. When I lost 40 pounds. So then she pointed out, like, you know, I started dating you and you were a lot heavier. I don't want you to be like really thin. And for my height and like my size, like I figure like 240 is a good weight. Like that's pretty healthy. I could still be active. That's playing weight. I mean, when I played sports, that was my playing weight.
Yeah, and see, I got down to 220, and I liked where I don't know. I've never like I always want to go further, but that was kind of where I ended up hitting my plateau. Mm-hmm. It was about there, and that's where I've the last time I got that low, I got to like 218, and then slowly started climbing back up. And so what I need to do when I get back to that point is I guess get into some sort of maintenance mode where I'm just kind of focused on like maintaining maybe muscle.
Yeah. Okay,
muscle.
so maybe that's what my plan will be. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. My goal this year, and keeping in mind I'm not on a diet. I keep trying to tell people that as all I'm doing. But because
it shouldn't be a diet. It should be a lifestyle.
Yeah,
and that's
so I'm not on any particular diet because people are asking me what I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm just counting my calories. But you don't have to do a diet.
No,
You don't have to do any type of diet. It's really simple, actually. All you have to do is just burn more calories than what you take in. So that's all I'm doing. I still have, now granted, I'm eating less carbs because it's empty and I would rather have something that is like good in place of the carbs. But it doesn't mean I'm eating no carbs. You know, on my salad every day for lunch, I have about 5 Ritz crackers that I crunch on top of it as like kind of like a almost like croutons.
Yeah.
About 80 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
It is 80 calories.
It
I know
is.
what 5 Ritz crackers is.
So do I. But it's perfect.
Right.
So I'm eating some carbs.
I know what 5 Ritz crackers is, Derek.
Not last night. One of the nights this week we had burgers at home, and I had those. Have you had those Oro wheat like thin, like those Oro wheat like hamburger thins? Like they're thinner.
Yeah. I've had those.
They're 150 calories. They're delicious.
Andrew
too.
King says hi, by the way. We need
Hello, Andy King.
We are. Let's interrupt this really quick.
Okay.
We are on YouTube now.
Everybody, we're on YouTube. We don't have to talk any more about weight loss this episode. It's the new year. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, so here's.
We should
just
talk
to
about
put
our resolution.
To put a pin in that.
Yes.
For me, I got off to a good start and then kind of like backpedaled it a little bit because when I last talked to you via text about it, I was like on track, and then I kind of took some backward momentum, and we got a tub of red vines for Christmas, and I finally like cracked that bad boy open, and it's just been kind of
crack that bad boy open.
Not good since then. I think we've got a phone call coming in
on our new thing.
Yeah, I think it's Andrew probably trying to call in, and I think I have to open up Skype. So hold on, Andrew.
Let's try that again. Yeah, save that somewhere, bud.
I guess I need to. Be on the dock now. Anyway,
I'm changing my sign in on YouTube so I can chat with the people, but not as Time Spent Poorly. I'm gonna chat as myself. I'm gonna completely agree. Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not easy. But we'll get there again. But this isn't a weight loss show. So our friends of the network, our friends of these shows, our athletic supporters for sports program's sake. We are on YouTube now. Officially, we are no longer streaming through Facebook anymore. Oh Good is the YouTube exclusive show. That's our Oh Good gameplay. It's actually how it's called. It's called Oh Good Gameplay. So we're exclusive through there because we don't do a podcast. But it's a lot of fun. If you've never watched a Let's Play, you probably should.
Yeah. I'm having him try again. Yeah, I like the Oh Good program.
They're a lot of fun. We played Red Dead Redemption 2 last time, and that was pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun. There it is.
I had to delete the app off my phone. All right, welcome. You're on Basement Boys 2.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. I'm watching this right now, and it's slightly delayed on my computer.
It's going to be that way. Yeah,
yeah.
It's definitely going to be that way.
There's definitely going to be a delay.
This is like, I just want to let you know I'm calling you from the future.
Right.
It's actually 10:42 in the future here.
Does anything
Not
good happen between
8:42.
now and 10?
What's that?
Does anything good happen between now and 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a train that goes by just down from my house. Really loud, wakes me up.
Oh, cool, man.
We still get trains in Lewiston.
In his house.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's fun.
I thought you were talking. I thought he was talking about his old house.
We do have we do have trains that do go through Lewiston still, though.
Yeah. Andrew King
Speaking
of King
Speaking of the train that's
Sports.
going by now.
Nice. So how's
Right on time.
I've been listening to your show, Andy. I love King Sports. Are you going to get on the YouTubes as well?
Ward and I have discussed this.
Cool.
It's in the works. I'm gonna work on getting OBS and getting a feel for it.
Good.
Because I feel like it would bring a little more to the show rather than me just talking in a room alone into a microphone.
Yeah, I think so too. And OBS is super easy to use, by the way. I think you'd have a lot of fun with it.
I've seen people use it. I mean, you guys use it. It looks like it makes the show look awesome on YouTube.
It's profesh.
Yes, especially with the steps coming out of the guy's mouth onto the computer. It looks great.
Yes.
I love it.
So, as do I. It is a
Also, I
well
just
done
wanted
guy.
to give you a compliment, Derek. Sports program. You and Zach are crushing it with Alicia. Crushing it. I love listening to it on my way to work every day.
Well, I think I appreciate that. We are. So I don't know if you've heard, but we did rebrand to the sports program on TSPN.
Oh, that's true. I went on the Twitter page and I'm like, oh, they added the word the. This is a change.
Yeah.
And then you talked about it in the show, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and
I can deal with this.
the reason why is because it was sports program with Derek and Zach, but now we have Alicia when we do the show from the home base, so or from the school,
Yeah.
from the radio station. So
It makes sense. It makes sense. I like the change though.
yeah, me too. I think it's fitting in well. But yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah.
So keep your show going, please.
Oh, I will. I've changed it from Mondays to Tuesdays now because I'm wiped out after working, those few days at the old Costco, and
Absolutely.
I'm just like, I'm gonna take Monday off and I'll just do it on Tuesdays, and it seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see that you've kept going with it, and
Ditto.
you're getting better every episode too.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
So.
Thank you.
And you sound better too. I saw your equipment. It looks great.
Yeah, my mom, I totally just had put that down on my Amazon list, like way down the line. And she's like, well, I saw you put that on your Amazon list, so I got it for you. I was like, what? Okay. And so I went back and listened to my episode, and it sounds a lot better than my other microphone. So
Yeah.
I am pleased, very pleased. I feel like you guys now with the mic arms and
Yeah.
the covers for the mics, and I'm like, I feel like I am a real podcaster.
It does
now.
it does really change the feel of a show when you add all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it's getting used to adjusting now because, like, adjusting it to fit my face, because before I just fold onto the other one because my desk is so short.
Right.
So I'm getting used to, like, smashing my face into it sometimes, or not having it close enough. I'm like, this is weird. It's like being back on the set of the Basement Boyz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're
stuff.
you're ready to open up a professional studio at this point. And,
There you go.
I need to.
And be
I gotta
online.
find something to do.
Yeah, one of these days you'll adjust one of the rooms in your house like we have to where it's like 3 different sets.
Yeah, it's hard because we only have 2 rooms upstairs, and one is supposed to be our spare room, and it's just kind of become my office. And I'm like, well, eventually it'll become a spare bedroom, and somebody who stays there will just have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Spare
Good.
rooms.
Good.
Spare rooms. I mean, who can spare room?
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true. Ward,
What's up?
how is hockey?
Hockey is going. It's been a lot of fun. I can't remember how many weeks I've been doing it now, but I think it's somewhere close to like 10 or 11 weeks now.
Oh, nice.
And so
Can you back skate like the professional?
I can't yet. No,
Can't
I
do it
can't
yet.
skate
Oh.
backwards yet. I'm still getting that figured out. I can do a lot more than I would have expected that I'd be able to do, and I can move around fairly effectively, but I still struggle with skating backwards. But I know there's a couple of guys that skate there. They've been doing this for like, there's one guy I talked to that's been doing it for like 6 years, I think. And I had mentioned to him, I was like, I can't skate backwards yet. And he's like, he goes, I can't skate backwards yet.
Oh,
He's been doing it for 6 years. So that made me feel okay. But it also kind of made me wonder, will I ever skate backwards?
right.
Because
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting easier, and I'm able to hit the puck without feeling like I'm going to fall down
That's good.
when I do that. And while
that's
I'm
step
moving, in
one.
fact. So that's kind of nice. But then there'll be I'm still incredibly uncoordinated at it, and have my moments where I'll just like completely wipe out. But last week was fun because we had a lot of there was a few new guys down there because they had posted on the Facebook page if people are interested in hockey, come down and try out hockey. So a few new guys showed up, and they looked like they'd probably been on skates before. Mm-hmm. They at least were they were better at skating than I was when I first went out there, but they weren't like their puck handling and all that stuff that was pretty fresh. And so it made me feel better because I felt like I was at least a little more capable in that regard, but I can definitely skate a lot better than I did before. So that's nice.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I was thinking about that back skating thing because you and Nicole had gone to the Chiefs game, and we were at the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders game the same night you guys were, and I was like watching this guy back skate. I'm like, I wonder if Warren can do that yet. I'm going to ask him sometime, and then I just forgot about it. And then I was going to text you and be like, did the Spokane Chiefs make you feel bad about hockey because they can do all those fancy fast tricks and everything? Where they're just like, I'm just going to handle the puck and dilly-dally across the ice and then put it in the net. It's like, oh.
There's a few guys down there that actually can back skate really well and are like really fast on the ice and really effective. And so that definitely was an intimidating factor for me because I watched them go. And I was like, boy, I really want to do that and be able to do that. What I need to do is I need to go down and like skate more on like the family skate nights and stuff and kind of practice at it more and try to get better at it. We have like 10 or 15 minutes before we play every night where we can kind of warm up and stuff. And I skate around then and, hit the pucks and stuff, but we really need more time. I need more time to kind of work out what that feels like so that I can kind of, so I can actually realize it, I guess, and know
and get a feel for how it is on the skates and everything.
Right, how it feels to do it so that I can replicate it, basically.
Right. Makes sense.
Nice. Well, that's good. That is good. Well, I just wanted to call in, say hello. Greetings from Eastern Iowa, the great cornfield state.
That's awesome. It's been a while since I've actually heard your voice in person, so thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling in there, Andrew. And
I'm gonna haul the laptop upstairs and finish watching the show.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Keep crushing on your show too.
I will. Thanks, guys. Good talking to you both.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. That was Andrew King from King Sports. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Check it out on the network.
So I guess
2 sports shows.
What I discovered there is I can't have Skype on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it defaults to I could probably play with the settings and figure it out, but I don't.
Well, you don't even really need it.
On your time. Who has the time for that? Another guy I want to give a shout out really quick is my brother-in-law, Jason, who's been recently listening to the show. What's funny about Jason is way back in the day of Basement Boyz, he was one of my earlier guests on the show. He and his twin brother, Jeremy.
Oh, cool.
Before you had even come on the show.
Right.
I don't remember if he ever came on and did a show where you were there.
I think he did one. I think one of them did one when Josh and I were on there.
That might have been Jason.
Okay.
But I can't remember. It's been so long. I'd have to go through the archives, the legacy shows.
Ugh.
But
good luck.
Yeah, they're hard to listen to. So I probably won't do that.
One of these days we'll never release them ever again.
Yeah, they're not. Boy, and I almost fear, like, they exist on my computer. They exist out there in the internet world somewhere, but no one is going to look for it. No one's going to. It's too much work for anybody to try to, unless I get elected to some sort of office of higher power.
Or they ask us to host the Oscars.
Yeah, then they'll dig that shit up. But it's safely buried out in the the internet somewhere and on
Yeah.
on a hard drive. And so one day when I die and my family goes through my stuff, they'll get to listen and say and hear all of the heinous things that we would
Right. Boy, I'm glad this show
talk
is not
about.
that show.
Yeah. It's a
But shout out to Jason.
that show lives. Yes, shout out to Jason, my brother-in-law. That show lives in a time capsule it's not. It's not a show for this decade or for this these last couple of years.
No.
It would not.
No, it's not a Me Too friendly show.
No. It's
and I'm not
and
saying
that's
that
not to
with
say
pride,
that's not
by the way.
right, and that's not to say we're on there just being completely ridiculous, but
We're not.
but we're not. That there's definitely some. Yeah. Anyway.
There's some stuff on there.
Yeah.
I have some stuff on there I'm not proud of. We grew though. It's not like we. Here's the thing: is it's not like we do this show differently now because we don't want to get in trouble. It's because I genuinely don't want to talk like how we talked on that show.
Yeah. It was a shock value.
It's a shock value show.
Thing, and it was what it was, and that's the same. It's the same boat that a lot, and that's why I guess I have some compassion for like Kevin Hart or
Right.
people of that ilk. Who's the guy that got that did the Marvel movies that got
James Gunn.
James Gunn? I mean, I don't know that we ever kind of slipped into that territory, but I do have some compassion,
Sure.
a little bit for him because people do change, and I feel like this movement somehow doesn't allow for that.
Right.
But
And now that we're on YouTube, it's just another platform that I don't really want to be like that on. as well.
exactly. We got to go delete some videos.
We're on right now on YouTube. If you go watch, you can also watch some of the old. I was noticing you can watch some of the old Time Spent Poorly shows from when Nathan was running the network,
Yeah.
which I thought was fun. I went back and watched an old Katie Reed Nerdgasm, and then I watched an old show program podcast for listening, which was my old show on there. Boy, so fat. Just so fat. But it was still interesting to watch. Still kind of shocking. Still kind of shock value-y.
Yeah.
It's not to the point of Basement Boys, but definitely that was when I was doing most of my comedy, which is non-existent now.
Right. Well, and I think even when you, myself, and Nathan were like the primary hosts of the show,
It
started to
tamed down a little bit.
It tamed down for several reasons, just because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Well, I mean, and a shout out to Jay Chill, Josh Childers, our old co-host. But I mean, a lot of his humor, and this is nothing against him at all. I think he's a very, very funny person, but a lot of the stuff that he says is just very shocking. And I think if you have one person like that on your show, it's just that we were also trying to match that too.
yeah,
So there's part of it.
yeah,
Like,
it was kind of an Annie up type.
yeah,
deal.
kind of. It sort of
Yeah.
like escalate. Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there.
Right.
Anyway, but this is actually a good.
I appreciate
segue,
you
though.
clarifying that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a good segue though, actually, because we started out in you started out in 2008 doing Basement Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I joined in about 2009.
Yeah.
Then we took a hiatus and we came back and we've done several of these episodes of this Basement Boys 2, the sequel, where we've talked about those days of doing Basement Boys 1.
Yep.
Now, we've also talked about on this show how we've been looking for some changes. Looking for some format changes, looking for some other changes. Not sure where we're going yet. We're getting there, very close, if not have reached it mostly. So it's as good as time as any to kind of start talking about that, I think.
Yeah.
Ward and I think on a past episode you can go back and listen to, we were talking about wrapping up Basement Boys at episode 100.
Yeah.
And kind of starting afresh with a new idea. We're still leaning towards that idea, but we've decided to go a different way with the idea, which is essentially we're going to retire the show at 65.
Because that's retirement age.
That's retirement age. These Basement Boys have become basement old men.
Which is true in a way, because we're like, I'm going to be 40 this year.
Right.
So
and I just turned. I'll be 35 this year.
So the 38-year-old that started Basement Boys 2 and the near 40-year-old is a way different person than the 28-year-old that started Basement Boys in 2008.
Right.
And I would say, when we started the show back up, we did it out of kind of a place of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so, but
again, pointing out that we didn't even know how many episodes we were going to do.
We didn't know what we wanted to do necessarily.
There was even talks of, and I love to point this out because here we are almost 2 years later, still doing this show. But there was even talks about doing like, I think on one of our text messages was even like, we could even look at even doing 10 episodes and like wrapping a bow on it, and because we don't know how much longer we were gonna, like. It's like,
what was the expiration date on how long that we would be allowed to? Not allowed, but
allowed a little.
But yeah, I mean, what was
allow ourselves?
Allow ourselves, our loved ones our
loved ones.
The leniency, and because that was one of the things that I brought up to my wife, and she was like, she supported the idea, and originally we went in with the plan that it was going to be
a seasonal show.
Seasonal. We were going to take summers and holidays off.
Right. So I mean, it was going to be.
But as we got going, holidays stayed in the mix, but we decided to work through the summer because if you've ever done something like this, it's like you get an itch. You can't we took how many weeks off? 2 weeks off between this show and the last.
Yeah, it was a long
show,
time.
And we've taken longer breaks.
Well, I think,
I'll do vacation and stuff, and we'll be gone, and we'll take like 2-3 weeks off. But I don't know that I could take 12 weeks off and then still come back and feel fresh.
Well, things were different too. I mean, this summer we came over here for a couple barbecues and hung out with the family, and this kind of goes
to this kind of plays in to the hand of our newest show, Friendish.
Right.
We can talk more about that, but also Derek and I have been working towards building our friendship more legitimately. I guess I'd say than even when we did the show before.
Well, yeah, because I would say over the last 2 years now of starting this show back up, we've hung out way more in the last 2 years than we ever did for the first.
And we haven't hung out that much.
No.
But we've gotten together.
The only time we ever hung out before was to do the show.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a couple times
other
I'd
than
gone
100.
down. Yeah, or I'd gone down to like where you used to work, and we would talk or whatever.
Right, and I did that at the comic book store.
Right,
and I hop into Rite Aid every once in a while.
Right, so I mean, like there'd be things here and there, but definitely not like outside. Like,
but we went to a football game.
Right,
We've
barbecued.
We've got some plans to do some other stuff. We're doing Super Bowl this year.
Super Bowl.
So
we're
working on building that friendship and that relationship.
Right.
And that was I don't know that's something that we necessarily planned when we planned to do the show.
No, I don't know. I mean there had to have been something that I'd always considered you a friend, considering that we kept in contact for all those years. I mean, even
during the dead time, yeah.
Even realistically, the dead time was dead 6 months before we were texting again, and then then off and on.
Right.
I mean, off and on over.
Yeah, there'd be months at a time.
Yeah,
where I wouldn't,
and then it'd just be like, oh,
then random text,
just randomly texting. Yeah.
So it was like, I would say it was good. Well, it was probably 6 years before we actually
Yeah.
Of 6 years of like just sporadic
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
interaction. And but yeah, like you said, I've always considered you a friend, but it wasn't
Right.
like a
But yeah, yeah. I mean,
like we didn't make plans to like seek out
and maybe,
one another's company.
maybe
And I think some of that probably stemmed back from the initial break too.
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
there was that.
Technology that I still
We've
blame.
we've mended fences.
Absolutely. So with that said, we're gonna retire Basement Boyz at 65. That's retirement age. But we are not going to start. I don't think we're starting over it at episode 1 of the new show. I think we'll. Do you think we'll just continue it at 66? I mean, what a great way to start a new show, 66.
Yeah, we could.
So this is stuff that we'll have to work out, but
Yeah, we'll
essentially we're going to retire Basement Boyz 2 at episode 65, retirement age, and we are going to unveil the new show, which will be the Time Spent Poorly podcast on TSPN. Time Spent Poorly on TSPN.
right.
Now, for our listeners of the show, especially the ones that have been really listening to the show over the last few months since we got on Spotify, because our listeners have definitely spiked. I've been looking at the analytics on the website; it's definitely spiked since we got on Spotify.
Yeah.
Don't worry not. Worry not, because we're not looking at a huge format change. We're looking at having more of a format, but realistically, it's going to be Ward and I. And then we'll have the same guests we've had on. It's just we're going to be more focused on our content. We'll have more weekly topics.
There'll be those there'll still be those random alleyways and banter pieces.
Absolutely, yeah. Or when we go on IMDb and delve down the rabbit hole and stuff.
Right.
But we're looking at just picking more topics and kind of sticking with those. In fact, we've even talked about when we have a guest on, find out kind of what they've been into, and then you and I doing.
There's
going to
be a significant pop culture element to the
absolutely
to the show. We may pepper in some other elements here and there,
yeah. But the main point is that Basement Boyz is already doing this now, especially over the last month or so.
Yeah, we kind of slipped into it.
Yeah. So essentially, Time Spent Poorly, the whole meaning of it is that everything that we're doing here and everything that we talk about on our show, our parents, with the exception of Ward's dad, most parents would think that what we talk about and what we are into, our hobbies,
is a waste of time.
Yeah. And a lot of people,
we're big children.
Yeah, and they also think that podcasting in general is a waste of time, which it could be and probably is.
Yeah. What's funny about that is, like, my son tonight, we were over at family's house and he yells across the room to me, "Dad, are you podcasting tonight?"
Right.
And I just kind of I like turn to him and I just kind of nod at him. Like, let's not bring any more attention to this than
please
need be. Yeah, I'm podcasting tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Check it out at TSPN.
Yeah. So our show has essentially been turning into TSP anyways. Time Spent Poorly podcast on TSPN. We're going to talk about topics that are basically the same ones. We're going to talk about movies and music and video games and whatever we're watching on TV. And we'll have guests on who usually are talking about what they watch on TV as well. So it's going to be essentially the same show. It's just, I guess the biggest part of it for our listeners that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, the Basement Boyz 2 name doesn't really give us anywhere to go as far as having subject matter. You know, it's not like sports program. We talk about sports. Friendish, a new show on the network, which they'll be on the show in February.
Right.
Bree and Caitlin. But their show is literally talking about making friends and making food.
Right.
And they have this plot. Zach Swan is working on a show currently.
Well, and see, I've told you this before. When I started because I originally started Time Spent Poorly
Right.
as a sideshow to Basement Boys, but when I started it, Basement Boys was already kind of like at the original Basement Boys was
Right.
kind of in its like snowball effect. We were moving along, so we didn't change names and move and shift
Right.
directions. The show Time Spent Poorly that I started didn't actually go anyway, and I ended up eventually giving it over to Nathan, who graciously returned it. Well, we've collectively
Brought it
grabbed onto
together.
it.
Yeah, Nathan. By the way, Nathan, although he's not on the shows, it's mostly because he has two very little kids. Nathan, though, DJ Nate Stone, he's starting his own little empire as well. He's still very much a part of the network, and then also you don't see him on camera, but Adam Sully is one of the masterminds, kind of behind the scenes as well, and then of course Zach has kind of become one of us as well, the boardroom as we call it, BORED.
Yeah, we should actually loop Andrew into the boardroom.
And Andrew,
as well.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's made it there.
You've risen.
Realistically, probably the Friendish cast too at some point.
Yeah,
but
well, I think pretty much most of the shows that we have will eventually.
Yeah, I think so.
Have to be involved in some way.
Right.
That way.
So, so the show, and that's one of the reasons why, like I was saying, like I think it'd be funny for Time Spent Poorly to start off at 66. You know, like we didn't miss a beat. The biggest thing is it should have the same RSS feed. It's just when you go back to listen to episode 1 of the Time Spent Poorly podcast, you'll be listening to Basement Boys too. Yeah. Which is fine.
Well, and see, like we talked about before, I'll look at like what the setting is, but I think we could even do Time Spent Poorly as an episode 1 and label it a season 2.
Oh yeah.
And do it as a season 2. We can visit that too. We can We'll figure it out between now and
But
then.
but we won't. We don't want to lose. Obviously, we don't want to lose the listener base that we have right now. And then also, we just don't want you, the listeners, to worry that the show is going to be changing a ton. We really wanted just the name just to, for one thing, as Basement Boys is already pretty much the flagship of the network, anyways. It's just we want to be doing it under the Time Spent Poorly name.
Yeah,
that's essentially what it is.
Well, and you know, you don't want to give up. For me, I don't want to give up all the work that we've put into it up to this point.
Absolutely, yeah.
When we started this, it wasn't a lot of it, and it's. I'm not going to say it's a lot of work now, but we ended up diving in a little deeper than I think was our original plan, because I think we did go into this kind of. Cautiously, because we didn't know how long it was going to last. And here we are, 50 plus episodes deep. I've built a set. We've got we have 6 other shows attached to the network as a whole. So I mean, we've slowly been building this over the last year and a half, and it's been an incredible amount of fun.
Oh yeah. So if we did a show every Thursday, I just kind of did a little bit of math. If we did a show every Thursday and stayed strong on it between now and 65, we would be looking at episode 65 being in that first week of April.
First week of April?
Yeah.
April Fools.
April Fools. It'd be April 4th is what the day would be. So we would basically April 11th would be the first. And episode 65, I'm sure between now and then we'll plan something special for it. 65 might be the one where we do the transition, though.
Yeah.
But we've all been very grateful for everyone who's listened to the show, and now we have so many other shows to
endured us
offer.
for this kind of like. I know, like what we're talking about now isn't everybody's.
Right.
Like this isn't what you would typically tune in to hear is us talking shop, talking business.
Right.
But it's kind of a special thing for us, and it's
right.
Short of having a meeting, and some of our conversations kind of delve into like humor and stuff, and so we thought it best to. We were talking about it before we started the show, and then I was like, we should just record
Just talk
this.
about it on the show. But yeah, so let's while we're talking about this though, let's go ahead and throw out some of our
Show plugs.
Our show plugs.
Yeah.
So you're listening to Basement Boys 2 right now, soon to be the Times Been Poorly podcast.
Yeah, and if you're
in
listening,
April.
there's actually you may actually be listening to all of our shows on one giant feed. We have one
that's
giant
true.
feed, which is the. We need to come up with a cool name for it. Right now, it's just like the Time Spent Poorly All Pod feed.
We could just call it one giant feed.
I know that people out there had like Feedbag and Fire Hose feed.
That's pretty funny.
I know there's different names and stuff, but I want to find something that's maybe like unique to us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If there's any listeners out there that have any suggestions,
Throw them our
to
way.
name our feed, to name the all podcast feed, throw them our way.
But Andy called into the show a little bit. Make sure you give King Sports a listen. He's really coming into his own doing the show.
Search that show on iTunes, and please, like, if you're listening on iTunes, give us a rate us and review us.
Yeah,
On the
for sure.
thing, and even throw those other shows a bone, and even check them out. Even if they're not your cup of tea or not your type of show, support these guys because we're trying to build something
Absolutely.
here and make something special for us and for you, the listener. So,
Absolutely. And man, there's a good. I really, if you really go out and listen to Friendish, it's been a ton of fun. I've just been producing it. I get to chime in a little bit, but it is a lot of fun to watch them.
It's a little nostalgic to watch because it's kind of like
It is a little nostalgic to watch.
it's like watching us fumble through the original Basement Boys, getting to know each other.
The 2 episodes they've done so far, they start off a little slow, and then as soon as they get right on into it, it just reminds me of when we used to do it. It was just
and we still do that sometimes now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so, but watching that blossom is kind of cool. Watching that Mayim Bialik.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think we should call blossom now. When things start to blossom and take
Yeah, I
bloom.
love it.
Let's call it the Mayim Bialik.
So you also really a big one to take a gander at is Human Guides, which are actually very short episodes, and that's probably the draw of them, other than being brilliant.
They are hilarious. It's a different, like, it's a smart sense of humor. It's like an intelligent sense of humor. What did you see?
After July 31st, the ability to auto-share YouTube actions, uploads, like videos, etc. on Twitter and Google Plus will no longer be available. I don't think we even do that. So,
No,
Andrew, human feetipede. I might like that one. That's a maybe. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah. That's a. I might come around to that.
That's pretty funny. I might have to go with that. But we have just to list a couple of the things we've thought about for the new show. I don't want to give away too much because we have some pretty good ideas brewing. But even just, you've heard us talk about Westerns on the show, and we've talked about modern Westerns. And one of the things I always like listening into shows is countdowns. I think I echo a lot because if you watch YouTube, there's a lot of top fives.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you and I have talked about delving into a little bit, doing some top fives on this show, because I think that's a medium that people really like. That's something we've looked at doing top 5 animated movie or top 5 Pixar movies or top 5 modern Westerns, just something like that. And then I like the idea of us bringing our own list and then seeing where we get on that. So that's kind of an idea.
The other element we brought to the show, or one of the elements that we brought currently that I want to take and kind of like see if we can do more with it, is the phone number.
Absolutely. Yep. The phone number.
That number for the listener who doesn't tune into the live show is 208-629-5355. So if you want to call in and leave us a voicemail,
Yeah,
or
we'll play.
come tune in on 8 p.m. Thursday nights or thereabouts Pacific time, you can listen to this show or tune in live to the show and call in live during the show. But you can leave a voicemail and we'll play it in the next episode.
Absolutely.
So,
one of the other ideas that we had, so Bree, the host of Friendish, this is one I don't mind talking about because I think this is such a great idea. She spends hours on her phone just watching cringe videos and TikTok videos. And I've started telling her to start compiling the worst ones. And, one thing that's really big on YouTube that we should definitely rip off is reaction videos. So I thought of a segment called Bree Shows Us the Internet.
yeah.
Where she comes on and shows us some of her worst of the worst that she's found, and so that you and I can give our piece on that. I love. Now I'm telling you, our listeners, if it sounds like I'm ripping off something that's been out there, I am doing that. But they work and they're funny. And sometimes you want to make what you watch because it entertains you. That's how shows are made.
Say that's 90%,
Absolutely.
98% of the content that you find online anyway.
Right.
My kids are watching things that they do.
Well, I mean,
you do a show that
I do a show where we play a video game. It's because I watch other guys play video games online, and I think it's hilarious.
Well, you start a podcast because you like listening to podcasts.
Exactly. So
you're like, I should do this.
So we have a few ideas, and we're looking out there to see what kind of stuff we can do. We have a lot of ideas coming down the line. That we're gonna keep developing into this new show that will be the Time Spent Poorly podcast, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. Hangin' 10 is going to come back live, and then in July, Stranger Show returns. And I'm excited about this season of Stranger Show, not because I think that the season's going to be good, because I just don't know.
Right.
But
because of Stranger Show.
What's that?
Because of Stranger Show, though.
Right.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited because we're bringing back Stranger Show. It's long awaited, and we're going to do it live this time.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So.
That's gonna be awesome. And then, of course, our social media has really been taking off. Thanks to our Podern family on Twitter. What a great community out there of podcasters. Very cool. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, TSPN Media, Derek on TSPN, and then Sports on TSPN. Oh, and Friendish, which I got to fix that one still.
Yeah, we'll save that Twitter handle until we have
I got to go out there and fix it.
Yeah. But, definitely check all those shows out. Do you want to do Nick Cage reads ad copy?
Yeah, I would love to. But anyway, thanks everybody who watched this show where we talked about what we were going to do on the show. I really appreciate you hanging in there for that.
Yeah, and I understand if you didn't finish the show.
But
I hope you did. I hope you did, because this is like a very revealing show.
Once in a while, we got to do a show where we're talking about what we want to do, though. I mean, because I think that's part of what our little community we've gotten is that I think they're interested as well in hearing what we have going on. So
you want to talk about your gross plans and your agenda, and one of the things that we do that I think stands out from other shows is we not all other shows, obviously, but I think we are trying to build ourselves more as personalities and people that can be like not. Every show has personalities, I guess, but the content that we're delivering is coming from a different approach than necessarily. We're not like a true crime podcast. We're not. We're not a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
By the way, if you are a local person and you want to do a true crime podcast or a Dungeons and Dragons podcast and are looking for a network, please
reach out
and contact us. It's not like we're opposed to having those on the network. It's just I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that research.
Exactly. Well, and you don't have to be local.
Yeah, actually, you don't have to be local.
reach out, either on Twitter or Facebook,
Yeah, we'd love to
And,
network up with you.
and we can talk. We can talk shop.
Yeah,
Talk shop.
we're always looking for more.
Yep. We're trying to
All
build.
right, let's do this ad.
All right.
Let's do this ad copy.
Do you have it?
No.
I sent it to you
When did you send it to me?
last night.
Via text?
Through Messenger. Yeah.
Okay.
It might have glazed over it just because it's where it says so it's 2 a.m.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay.
Oh no, I did read this. Yeah. All
okay.
right.
I did I did say Frank Federline introduces Nick Cage. Who read that copy?
Okay.
I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that now today. Well, I'll try. Okay. So, Frank Federline. We got to give him a backstory on
Right.
Frank Federline really quick.
Frankie F.
So you know who this person is.
Yeah.
Frank Federline is an individual that I conjured
Yes.
from my imagination
In like 2009.
in like 2010.
Yep.
Who is Kevin Federline's dad, who this guy just wants to like kind of ride the coattails of Kevin Federline, which I always thought the idea of a guy wanting to ride the coattails of a not that successful guy.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Like Kevin Federline got his success off of just
Right.
being married, being a dancer
Right.
that married Britney Spears, and that
Right.
was basically the gist of it. And then
Right.
they had a TV show together for a little while
Yeah.
on MTV, and fuck MTV, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to revive Lindsay Lohan's career with that
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
beach house show. Anyway, so Kevin Federline was, and the impression that I made up for Kevin Federline is, you'll know it's basically a aped version of Tim Meadows' Ladies Man.
Right. Oh, so by the way, this impression you're about to do, this impersonation, so he did it at Hundy, which we've talked about on the show numerous times, is our failed attempt to do a live podcast at a local bar here. Yeah. Who, by the way, Skate Pierce, who is a longtime manager of that bar, purchased that bar.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to Skate, because it is a well-ran, oiled machine now. It's very nice. I love it.
Nice.
Love it in there. Good for you, Skate. Good job. He's also a local congressman over in Clarkson.
Nice.
I think he's a councilman. I always say councilman. But you did it at Hundy, and for the longest time of those sporadic times where we would text over 6 years, I would just text sometimes and say, I just thought about Kevin Federline impersonation and just like started laughing.
Oh, Frank
There was,
Federline.
Frank Federline. There was one time where I was working and I just started talking like that, and then it just reminded me of that and it made me laugh.
Yeah.
So I might be the one person that thinks it's really funny, other than you.
We might be
Okay.
Everybody else might think it's terrible, but anyway, we had to preface that a little bit so that like people that don't know the old show know kind of like where we're going with it. So, Frank Federline is Kevin Federline's dad.
Okay.
So, don't look at me.
I'm not looking at you.
This is Frank Federline, Kevin Federline's dad. I don't know if you know what Kevin's been up to lately, but I've been working on some projects of my own, and one of the things I've been working on is pornographic features. But I've always been into the pornographic features. I'm willing to show pretty much anything. The ladies aren't really into that, especially today with the Me Too movement and stuff. But one time, we'll skip that. Right now, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and cede the floor here to Nick Cage, my new friend Nick Cage. He's been making a lot of Lionsgate features, And today he's moved on to some new lines of work. He's actually gonna take his hand at voice acting and do some voiceover work for a local advertisement here. So without further ado, here's Nick Cage. I call him Nick. He's my friend Nick. Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Before we start here, I was just noticing in the notes here, this doesn't have anything about my long, flowing, beautiful hair.
Yeah, sorry about
I went
that.
and got a wig especially for this. Well, actually, it was my one that I left glued to my head from The Sorcerer's Apprentice, starring Jay Baruchel. Have you seen it? It's terrible. So, it's 2 a.m, and you're starving. Nothing in the fridge. Nothing in the cupboards. You don't even have dog biscuits hanging around. You think about cooking, but then you remember the 3-alarm fire you started last time you tried using the stove. Well, check out 7-Eleven. There's got to be one right near you. They've got everything from burgers to tacos, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 7-Eleven. Think of it as your own personal walk-in kitchen. I know I do.
All right, thank you, Nick.
Is this enough to pay for one of my houses, or do I have to get rid of it? Oh, Nick.
All right. So that has been Kevin Federline introduces Nick Cage.
There we go.
Who will read ad copy. I actually enjoyed that segment, and I think we can.
I think we can too.
We can improve upon that.
We might have Nick read some ad copy for 4 times Basement Boyz.
Yes.
Oh, that was good.
All right. Well, anyway, I think that's a great point to end the show.
I think so too.
Our website is timespentpoorly.fun, or if your attention span is not that long, TSPN.fun. It'll redirect you to the main page, and you can go there to watch the show, check out all the other shows, and subscribe. Rate and review the show on iTunes. Please rate and review all of our shows on the network. It's going to do us great things.
And make sure you check out our Patreon that we don't have.
Yeah, and that probably won't have.
Yeah. I mean,
we've been okay. So we have some reservations about the idea of setting up a Patreon account. I know that some podcasters do it, but
for now,
I feel like we need a larger audience to justify and great content.
Yeah.
To justify.
Once we have really good content, we'll ask you for your money.
Yeah. If you want to just give it to us anyway, I mean, there's Apple Pay and other options. Just reach out and we'll talk.
Well, I'm not saying we won't take your money. I'm just saying we're not setting that up yet.
So anyway,
thanks everybody for listening to the show, though. We really appreciate the fine years you've been giving us, and we're looking forward to giving you plenty more in the future. Make sure you check out Saturday. We got a new episode of sports program on TSPN that'll be about noon. We will be hitting that off. It'll be at noon because the first football game starts at 1:35 that afternoon. So Zach and I will be giving our picks for this weekend's division games. We didn't do any on Wednesday, so you'll want to check out that show. You'll also want to check out the Good Gameplay. We will also have that on Saturday. And then finally, to start off next week, the Friendish podcast will be live on Sunday about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, that's if you're a sociopath and you start your week on Sunday.
No.
As you should, but I think that's the rule.
Right.
That's the song. That's the way the song is sung.
I was gonna say to finish off the weekend, so that's probably better. To finish off the weekend,
but it is the week. But it is the actual week because it goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I mean, if you look at pay periods, it starts on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Basement Boyz. Oh, hey, wait. I believe Rick Huddleston will be joining us next week.
Oh, good.
We'll return next week with Rick.
Awesome.
Goodbye.
Bye.